Credits in Warframe are what you are going to be needing a lot of the time whenever you're doing stuff like upgrading your mods, other than, of course, you need Endo for that. Trading with other players, say you want a Prime mod, that's going to be 1,000,000 credits. And sometimes, if you're newer, it can be very hard to get credits, and you just need to know the right places to go. So in this video today, I'm going to be explaining where to get credits and the best way to do so. So yeah, let's just begin. If you're completely new to the game, you're probably going to want to start out by doing dark sectors. Dark sectors are the locations on maps where it's just the infested, and it's going to be one of the endless mission types. So it's either going to be survival, excavation, interception, so on, and you'll do 1 or 2 rounds, and then whenever you extract, you will get that many credits that it has listed. Now, at least this is usually going to be 10,000, and sometimes there are certain ones that go up to about 20 to 40. And so these can be very useful whenever you're starting off. Now, of course, if you're far into the game, you're not going to be using this at all. This is one of the slowest ways to get credits, but it's one of the quickest if you're new. Other than that, if you're new, I just recommend selling a shit ton of mods that you have laying around if you don't use them anymore. But yeah, this method really isn't that quick. You really just want to use this until you get to Neptune so that you can start with the index, which is what we're going to talk about next. Once you've racked up enough credits, which the lowest one is going to be 30,000, the medium is 40,000, and the highest is 50,000, you're just going to go into the index on whichever difficulty you choose. Now, if you're new, of course, I would highly recommend going into low, or if you have an experienced friend or know what you're doing, you can go into high risk easily. It's really not that hard, and I'll explain the best ways to do it in just a second, but yeah, let's just talk a bit more about that. How you play the index is very simple. You just go in, you kill the enemies, you pick up the things they drop, and then you deposit them in the other side. Now, for every little point you pick up, they will stack. So once you have 1, you don't get anything extra, but once you hit 5, you get 2 bonus points, 10 is 4, 15 is 8, and 20 is plus 10, and so on. It's just plus 10 after that. So pretty much where you want to quit is at 15. You should probably deposit at 15 because that's when you get the most for, your bang for your buck. Now, fighting these enemies can be difficult if you don't know what you're doing, but there's a few things you just need to know, which is 1, their corpus, so you either want Slash to completely, ignore their shield. There are some that are robotic, so if you just pretty much set up magnetic, if you have radiation, you're going to go through this just fine. I personally use 2 heavy-hitting weapons, which are the Rubico Prime and the Catch Moon Kit Gun, because they both deal enough damage to one-shot them almost all the time. There are very few moments where you won't one-shot them, and it's just insanely easy to do. Now, as for Warframes, I just recommend running pretty much anyone that won't die. So, Rhino Prime, he's probably going to be your best bet. If you're new to the game, Rhino Prime's going to be the easiest one to use. I don't know why, and this doesn't really have anything to do with this video, but I had people in my clan that were talking about how they hate rhinos going into the index, but it doesn't matter. Run what you want in the index, just you're going in to get credits. There's nothing to worry about. If someone's being an ass to you about it, ignore them, because it's literally a game mode in a video game. You can play how you want, just, yeah, play who you want in that mode. As long as you're not purposefully throwing, you're not hurting anyone. So yeah, I recommend Rhino Prime because he will survive, and he's probably the easiest one to build for the index too. Inaros can be pretty good, but I still think that Rhino is easier to build. If someone wants to leave their Inaros build in the comments below, please do, because I still have trouble building him for an index run. I really don't do the index that often because I'm going to talk about the main method I use next. But yeah, that's it for the index. It's really simple. It's one of the quickest ways to earn credits, and if you're newer, it's going to be a lot easier. So yeah, let's just talk about the last method that I'm going to be talking about today to earn credits, which in my opinion is the quickest way in Warframe in general. And that is, in my opinion, the quickest way to earn credits being the Profit Taker Orb. Now, the Profit Taker Orb is, of course, the boss fight on Fortuna where you kill the big old orb. That's it. It's a really simple fight once you actually have it unlocked, but let's talk about that. So, of course, to actually get to the Profit Taker Orb, you do have to get to rank 5 when it comes to the Fortuna people, and that does take a bit of time, but once you're there, you can simply go into the back room, which is the briefing room, and do all of the pre-missions to actually get to the Profit Taker fight itself. Now, I'm not going to go over all of the pre-missions because they really aren't that hard. They're very simple. One of them is just you go in, you steal a thing. First one is like you go and do essentially 3 different bounties. That one is actually the worst one of all. It's even harder than the fight itself because it just takes so damn long. But yeah, let's actually talk about the fight. So the fight with the Profit Taker starts by you coming into Fortuna, and then you just fly out to him, you run out to him, you just get to the boss as soon as you can. And from there, you will notice that there's a symbol on his head, which is, of course, a symbol of one of the types of damage in the game. It can be slash, impact, corrosive, infected, it can be any of them, it can be any of the combinations. So pretty much what you're wanting to do is you want to go into the fight with as many different elemental damage types as possible, and just as many damage types as possible as general. And it's much easier if you go in with a team of people, because everyone can build to have even more types of damage. Because if the damage type shown on the Profit Taker isn't the one that you have or anyone has, you can't damage him. Now, if this is the case and none of you can damage him at the time, you just simply go into your operator mode and shoot him with one of the void abilities, or you can dash into him. Anything that does void damage will reset it and change it to the next element type or whatever it's going to be. Now, once it is on one that you have, you simply just shoot him with it, and it will deal a bunch of damage, or, well, I don't know, it's not always a bunch, but I'll explain how to do a lot more in just a second. Now, after doing this enough, you will actually get his shields completely gone, and you'll move on to the leg portion of the fight. Now, for the legs, all you have to do is equip an arch gun, or an arc gun, I don't know why I said arch, an arc gun, and just shoot them, and that's it. After you shoot all 4 of the legs to a point where they don't have health, he'll go down, then you shoot him, and then he'll come back up, shoot 4 pylons, you destroy the pylons, do the same thing over and over again until he's dead. It's very simple, it's a very quick and easy fight, but after that fight, of course, he's dead. Now, quickly before we talk about the rewards, let's talk about the frames to use. Now, personally, I enjoy running Chroma because, of course, after you take enough damage, your amplification damage, if you're running the right build, is just insane. Now, personally, I can solo the fight, it just takes a lot longer whenever I'm doing it alone because I don't have enough damage types, and I don't have the right builds to solo, but whenever I'm with people, it's an insanely easy fight. It takes less than 4 minutes, especially if you have an experienced person going into it, but other than that, there really isn't that many other frames I recommend. Any of the healer frames are going to be great, so Trinity, Haro, but, I mean, Neza will work, Inaros will work, Nidus he should work. I haven't actually used Nidus in it yet. So yeah, Nidus might work, but other than that, I would say if you have Chroma, use Chroma. He's the easiest one and probably the strongest one to use in it. Now, of course, anyone can be free to leave below who they use, but I'm just saying I personally use Chroma. Now, for the rewards, what you're going to want to do is, I would recommend having a Smita Kavad equipped because they will double the credits that you get, and if you have a credit booster, then it's just even better. So whenever you get done with the fight, the boss will drop 125,000 credits, which is a very good amount for how quick the fight is, but usually, for whatever reason, this seems to double whenever you enter Fortuna. Like, I always get back with 250,000, and as of right now, I have a credit booster, which is what you're seeing in the video, and that'll make it so whenever I, leave, I'll have 500,000, but if you get the Smita boost whenever you're extracting, or I mean, whenever you pick up the credits, you'll extract with 1 million credits, which is absolutely insane. Now, at the time of, the Thermia Fractures, I had to think of it for a second, where they had the credit booster running, you would be getting like 2 million credits per fight, which was insane. It was a really quick way to earn credits, but right now it's not nearly as fast, but it's still a very quick way to earn credits. Now, other than that, something else you might want to look for whenever you're fighting this boss is that he can drop the Bloodshed Sigil, which is the one that, covers your Warframe's body in blood, which is really nice to have. I still don't have one yet, but, I mean, it does have a 1% drop chance, so that's probably why. And, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I know it's a bit longer than some of my others, and I just thought I should maybe help out talking about quickest way to earn credits, just so that everyone knows the index isn't the only way to earn credits. There are other ways that are quicker, and, again, there are even more ways than what I'm talking about right here. It's just, I believe these are the quickest. I mean, I didn't even talk about the sorties. They're a good way to earn about 100,000 credits a day. And yeah, that's it for this video. Oh, I didn't hit 10 minutes. I don't get my mid-roll. See ya!